Welcome back. Now, this week, the American media finally found the culprit behind the alleged hack on the Democratic Party servers, but they weren't the first to point the finger.
We have to recognize that, as the latest reports made clear, Vladimir Putin himself directed the covert cyber attacks against our electoral system, against our democracy, apparently because he has a personal beef against me.
I give the intelligence community the chance to gather all the information, but I'd make a larger point, which is not much happens in Russia without Vladimir Putin.
Well, Obama also promised to take action against Russia, saying the alleged hacker attacks were meant to disrupt the US presidential election. Miguel Francis Santiago now takes a look at how the media spun the story without asking for proof.
It started with sensational headlines, and now it spiraled to this.
Vladimir Putin was personally involved in the Russian attempt to disrupt the U.S. election. Putin's role was directing the use of the hacked material.
So how do you get from a WikiLeaks about the DNC to Putin with a smoking gun? Like this. First, cite anonymous private security experts and unnamed officials. No need to bother with evidence and facts. The man behind the leaks, who has a 10-year record of high-profile leaks, has publicly denied Russian involvement. Even the director of the FBI can be ignored. So who should we actually listen to? Perhaps the main victim of the leaks.
There's no doubt now that Russia has used cyber attacks against all kinds of organizations in our country.
Her camp backed this message.
Russian state actors broke into the DNC, stole these emails.
Now that you're convinced Russia's to blame for everything, we can make it official.
The U.S. intelligence community is confident that the Russian government directed the recent compromises of emails from U.S. persons and institutions. The recent disclosures of alleged hacked emails are consistent with the methods and motivations of Russian-directed efforts.
What efforts exactly? What country's elections has Russia tried to undermine? Again, not a shred of evidence, but they're confident. And then the next step is to give the new boogeyman a face. Enter Putin. But just in case you did want some proper evidence...
I do not have an additional intelligence assessment to share from the podium.
So are you confirming that the White House believes that Vladimir Putin was the person?
I've seen those reports. I'm not in a position to confirm them. I'd refer you to the intelligence community for their assessment.
So there you go. That's how you prove it was the Russians.
Well, media and legal analyst Lionel says that even in the unlikely event that the allegations are true, it would still not have affected the election result.
Let's assume that there were hacks. Assume that Vladimir Putin exactly was involved in this. Assume that to be true, which it's not, but assume. What does that have to do with losing the election? How did that change votes? Are you telling me that the people who voted for Donald Trump didn't know they were voting for Donald Trump, but voted for him because they were affected by a DNC hack? Do you think that somehow they were telepathically and cosmically affected by thought waves that were sent to them to vote for Donald Trump?
And it seems the habit of seeing Putin's hand in everything at the moment that goes wrong is contagious and has recently spread to Germany too, because an article in Bild newspaper claimed that Russia could be orchestrating sex attacks by refugees to sabotage the upcoming German parliamentary elections.